Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. And today we got a little special. We're going to recap some of the rookies that's making their imprint in the 2021 NFL season that came out of the 2021 NFL draft class. And today we're going to highlight Javonte Williams, running back for the Denver Broncos out of North Carolina. So if you like the video today, please come and share it. We'll surely appreciate it here at 100 Yards Football. And to help me break down this young man's outstanding rookie season is a gentleman that comes at the highest level. He's scouted at the highest level under the two greatest minds in all of the NFL, Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick. He also is wicked with the pen because he writes for Sports Illustrated as he covers the Detroit Lions and the New York Jets. And he's got an outstanding book, Whatever It Takes. Please, if you're a football fan and you love the game of football, please read this book, and I guarantee you it's going to change your life. Because the obstacles that this young man overcame is unbelievable. And I'm very honored and very thankful that he's joining me today. Coming out of the lovely island in town of Key West, Florida this morning, my man Daniel Kelly. So if you like the video, please come in and share it. And let me give you a little story. I want to do a lot of talking. When we was doing these NFL draft prospects last year, you know, me and him off there, we tend to get into it a little bit. That Minnesota up north Viking type of mentality comes out of them. And you know, I'm a Southern boy, so I'm gonna stand up to him, the North against the South. Civil War III. Boy, this young man was high on Javonte Williams. And I know he licking his chops. He told me, Vincent, he will be the top rookie in this draft class, and he will make his imprint on the National Football League this season. The floor is yours, sir, Mr. Daniel Kelly. Tell us how Javonte Williams is really making his imprint with the Denver Broncos.
He sure is. Thank you, Mr. Turner. It's great to be with you this morning. It is, you remember that show. I remember that show. We did pre-draft very well. And I tell you what, on social media, we got about 20 million people out there who always like to tell everybody, hey, that didn't age very well. Hey, that's an ice cold take. Well, guess what? This is an on fire pre-draft take. This aged as well as a fine wine that costs $5,000 at the fanciest restaurant in town. I hit this guy out of the park, grand slam, and you did too, Mr. Turner. We love this guy. Listen, scouting is not hard. It's not rocket science. Turn on the film, grind it, and stay away from the politics. This guy, when you turn him on at North Carolina, anybody in America could have seen this guy was, I'm not going to pat myself on the back too much, because this guy looked like a superstar at North Carolina. And I even said in the show back then that this guy could very well be, matter of fact, he was my pick for offensive rookie of the year headed into the NFL draft. And guess what? I'm not a Johnny come lately. All my stuff is time and date stamp pre-draft on NFLDraftDiamonds.com. You guys got to go look at it. Type in Daniel Kelly, Javonte Williams. Pre-draft, my report comes up. Love the guy. When I talked about Javonte Williams at North Carolina really quickly, let me unpack some of the things I like, because some of the things I liked have transferred over to the Denver Broncos. By the way, kudos to George Patton, the general manager of the Denver Broncos. Kudos to the Broncos scouts for recognizing this guy and bringing him in. And actually, this guy is a huge difference maker, and we've seen it this year already for the Denver Broncos. But great scouting guys in Denver. Great job. When I looked at him at North Carolina, when I turned on the film, here's what I saw. I saw an explosive, compact, physical runner with burst acceleration, balance, great hands out of the backfield, a sports car type of running back, determined, a guy who runs the daylight. He was explosive at the second level. When I say second level, I mean where the linebackers play. It's NFL scouting terminology and coaching terminology. You'll hear it sometimes on broadcasts when they talk about the second level. They're talking about where the linebackers line up. And he's a guy who ran with purpose. This guy hammered the line of scrimmage at North Carolina. He was a legit dual threat, as I mentioned. He was kind of in the mold of an Aaron Jones with the Green Bay Packers. And I'm going to say it because I talked to this guy on the phone when I was 13 years old. He has some Walter Payton in him, and the way he runs the ball. He's a punishing type of runner. He has a lot of the moves that you want runners to have, the great ones. He has a spin move. He can stiff arm. He can hurdle. He's done all those things in the NFL as well. He had showed good long range speed. He had speed to get to the outside, which not a lot of them do. And once he was in the open field, look out at North Carolina. I thought Denver stole him. I'm just going to say this for a second. I think Denver stole him in the NFL draft this year. He went number 35 overall in the second round, early in the second round. And this is something that's kind of a phenomenon in the National Football League when it comes to scouting and drafting players, is when guys like we were growing up, Mr. Turner, star elite running backs would be top 5 guys in the first round. The NFL game has changed a little bit. Offense sells tickets, defense wins championships. A lot of fans want to see the passing game. The rules are slanted more towards the passing game. Everything's kind of evolved more into a passing game in the NFL. Therefore, fullbacks are almost obsolete. Running backs now, star running backs like a Javonte Williams, who used to be top 5 picks, now dropped to the second or third round of an NFL draft. I think the top guy coming out this year on Michigan State is maybe a low second, early third round projection on PFF. But these type of runners, I mean, let's face it, when you can run the ball, you can control the clock. I mean, I worked for Bill Parcells. I grew up watching Bill Parcells. I grew up watching Joe Gibbs, the Hogs. When you have a running back like a Javonte Williams, and let's get back to reality. Let's get back to basics. You can control the clock and you can control the tempo and you can wear out a defense. I don't know how the game has evolved into this pass-happy game, but I can tell you one thing. The Denver Broncos will have a distinct advantage over almost most teams in the NFL who don't value running backs as much anymore, because the Denver Broncos, when you play them, once they get their quarterback situation figured out, they're just going to wear people out with Javonte Williams throughout the course of the game. So, like I said, someone needs to call 911 because I think that the Denver Broncos absolutely stole Javonte Williams in the 2021 NFL draft. Looking, unpacking Williams for a moment statistically this year, I went to ESPN.com. And I pulled down the stats: 155 rushing attempts, which ranked 16th in the NFL currently, 743 yards rushing, which ranks 13th. He's got 3 touchdowns, which ranks 30th overall against his peers. And his average, get this, 4.8 yards per carry, which is one of the highest ranking averages in the NFL. As a matter of fact, categorizes him as the 10th best runner in the NFL right now at 4.8 yards per carry. He's broken 100 yards a couple times this season. And here's the thing that that greatness is in a player is when a former great steps up and recognizes this guy as being someone who's great. And that's what happened. Denver's very own Terrell Davis came on social media on Twitter, and he was quoted as saying, "Javonte is a throwback. This guy has captured the attention of Terrell Davis," and the mile-high salute to this man, Javonte Williams. Right now, this guy is probably ranked. I think I saw something online last night that he is in the mix for Rookie of the Year offensively, and there's a reason why. Now, when I went back, I looked at him in Denver. Right, we don't just look at these guys in college and just run our mouths and talk about what they are. We also go back in this show and we watch the tape of the guy this year. What is he now? Because Bill Parcells, the man who hired me with New York, said, "Hey, listen, you're either getting better or you're getting worse, but nobody stays the same." So when you look at these players, you can't talk about what they were last year or 2 years ago or whatever. You need to talk about what they are now. So I went back last night and did the work on this guy, and I looked at Javonte Williams with the Denver Broncos 2021 NFL season against Kansas City, against Jacksonville, against Dallas. And here's what I saw. I saw that this guy is an absolute handful on tape. Special looking, running and catching the ball very well. Same things as he did in college. He's doing them in the NFL. That's a mark of a great player. This guy runs. He's tough. He's physical. That's going to stuff is going to sound repetitive because I can't speak highly enough about this guy. Good instincts, good vision, runs with a lot of power. He's always moving the pile forward. He's got a lot of forward momentum. He's got a lot of energy to him. He runs with energy. He shows great balance. He's a punishing runner. I mean, guys in the NFL are having a hard time bringing this guy down. Some of the best tacklers in the NFL, he's making look foolish. And he runs like he wants it. I can't emphasize this enough. NFL scouting is not about just finding guys checking off the boxes, having guys run through little orange cones and all this kind of nonsense. It's about looking at the tape and finding the guys who want it, finding the guys who as Bill Parcells said, football is important to him. And football is clearly important to Javonte Williams because he runs with purpose. And he has a little bit of that Walter Payton to him. Instead of running out of bounds, he'll turn and look at the defender. I've seen this happen this year. And he'll turn to him and he'll run into him instead. And he'll punish the defender. There's not a lot of cornerbacks and safeties in the NFL who want a piece of this guy. This guy often can make the first man miss. He has been a special player. The announcers every week I'm seeing him. I know your team, Mr. Turner, the Dallas Cowboys, he had 2-3 real big runs against Dallas this year. You hear the announcers talking about how they've been, hey, look at this guy. Hey, this guy is special. It's on and on and on. The announcers every week are recognizing how special this guy is going to be. If he stays healthy, this is clearly one of the best running backs in the NFL, and this clearly is going to be one of the top backs probably in history when it plays on the dust is settled on this thing, because this guy is going to reach, he's already at 743 yards. He's going to reach 1,000 yards this season. He's going to be a perennial 1,000-yard plus runner for them. He's going to be a guy that could control the game clock for them. And really, he's a guy that's going to make a huge difference towards getting the Denver Broncos to where they want to go. They just need to ride the coattails of Javonte Williams. This guy is special. And to all the teams in the first round that talk themselves out drafting the first round running back, sit back and watch is all I can tell you, because this guy is special. Your thoughts, Mr. Turner?
Well, we've been arguing about Javonte Williams over the last year, but I would say this about him. You was 100% right, my man. He's making a case to be Rookie of the Year.
Hey, film doesn't lie.
What I like about him, he's got over 1,000 yards from the line of scrimmage.
That's right.
But think about this. He's only getting 50% of the snaps because he's sharing them with Melvin Gordon.
There you go.
Another thing I like about him, he has the highest rate of any running back right now in the NFL and causing people to miss tackles at 35%. And he's the first Bronco in the history of that franchise to have over 100 yards in the game and 75 yards receiving. And we're talking about two Hall of Famers in Floyd Little and Terrell Davis. And then think about this. He has a successful rate of 46% because he's accounted for 37 first downs. What I'm saying is this. Walter Payton, number 2, Jackson State, Chicago Bears, Hall of Famer. But what I loved about Javonte Williams coming out of college, out of North Carolina, from the 910, Wallace, North Carolina, was this. He was a direct one-cut runner that wastes very limited steps, and he gets quickly up the field. A guy that don't waste no time in the hole. And I love his skill set. I just can't get over that he's sharing 50% of the snaps. He's not even a starter. Run for power, A+. Finesse, A+. Catches the ball out of the backfield like a receiver, A+. And punish defensive backs, A+. Hard to bring down one-on-one. You was 100% right. You was Acapulco gold about Javonte Williams, Mr. Daniel Kelly.
Thank
There's
you.
no question about it. This young man has been a special football player, and the Broncos are still in the mix to get a playoff spot in the AFC. And game film don't lie. You brought up the Dallas Cowboys film. Boy. Back in November, 17 carries, 111 yards, averaged almost 7 yards a pop. We don't have to say no more about Javonte Williams. Final words about the young man that you hit on the spot out of
Thank
the
you.
2021 NFL draft. Your final words about Javonte Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. I tell you what, this guy is all that a bag of chips on film. He's a special football player, and he's going to continue to be a special player, barring any type of injury or anything like that. The thing I like most, final words about Javonte Williams, is that when I watch him run the ball, it's like taking one of those those slingshots. You remember those slingshots? And
Yes,
you kind of moving a rock back or a ball or something in a slingshot, and just pulling it back and pulling it back and pulling it back and pulling it back until it can't go any further, and then letting it go, and it just forces forward. That's the kind of force and momentum Javonte Williams runs the ball with every time he's handed the ball. That makes him extremely tough. And I got a news flash. Guys in the NFL are not that great at tacklers. You would think that by the time you get to the NFL level, everyone's got the art of tackling down. They don't. And this guy's going to make him pay, has made him pay, will continue to make him pay. And I think as the dust starts to settle on this thing, you're going to see this guy become the full-time starter for the Denver Broncos, and he's going to carry him. And they haven't had a running back like this since Terrell Davis. This guy is special. And I can't say enough good things about him. It's fun watching the special ones on film. There's a lot of guys, a lot of Jags, as Bill Parcells called them, which stands for just another guy. When you see the special ones, they jump out, and Javonte Williams was one of those special ones.
My final words about Javonte Williams. I think about this lead singer who was the leader of one of the greatest bands that ever was in the history of music, R&B group by the name of Earth, Wind, and Fire. And the leader of the band was from Memphis, Tennessee, and his name was Maurice White. And they had a song that went like this. Javonte Williams, you are a shining star. You are a shining star. Javonte Williams right now is a shining star for the Denver Broncos. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it. We'll surely appreciate it here on 100 Yards Football. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. I'd like to say thanks to my special guest coming live to us from Key West, Florida, my man, Mr. Daniel Kelly. Please follow some of his draft prospects and some of his writing on, tell them, Daniel, where they can find you at.
You find me anywhere. You find me online. Just type in Daniel Kelly New York Jets on Google, Daniel Kelly NFL Scout on Google. You can find me at Daniel Kelly Book on Twitter. You can find my book at whateveritakeSbook.com. My book's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever books are sold. I'm on Facebook. I'm all over the place. Much to the chagrin of the social media world, I am all over the place. You can find me anywhere you look for me.
And you forgot about Draft Diamonds.
Yes, I'm on Draft Diamonds as well.
If you like the video, one more time, please come in and share it. I'm Vincent Turner. Joining me there was Mr. Daniel Kelly. We'd like to say thank you to our producer, Mr. Logan Landers, for making it happen. It's the NFL. Playoffs are right around the corner. Can Dak Prescott answer the bell? Will Tom Brady be in LA? Be blessed and have a wonderful week here on 100 Yards of Football.